Hello everyone, it's Arkeem Ra, and I just thought I'd make a little video here, sort of like a call to action kind of thing, where I just saw some behavior recently that I think it doesn't go unwarranted to highlight it, and this isn't to this is because some people did something very brave and something that I think was very good for the community. Um, Essentially, like a couple months ago, um, maybe not even that long, Christy Campbell reached out to me about some stuff that she remembered from Montauk, and a lot of it was some pretty nasty stuff, and it had to do with Joseph Powell. And I asked her for permission to tell him about it without, without like they don't have to talk to each other. Just say I asked her for, and so I told him about it, and um he did not react very good to it. Some of the stuff that he got remembered was so bad he had to pull over to the side of the road and throw up. And but basically these two, despite her having these terrible memories of him and stuff like that, they did a show on James's channel, which I'm gonna link in the description of this video. It's on Rumble. So people can watch it. And basically, I just want to highlight that this is like the kind of behavior that we really need to see in this community, because this is about collaborative testimony and about highlighting these programs and what's going on and the atrocities that are occurring and everything else. And when we're able to move past the memories that we have and the programming that we have to not talk to each other or collaborate with each other or work with each other, that's when we break down that programming, we can really start making some more like hardcore, like concrete change in the world and push the disclosure movement further. Because what we have right now is we have quite a few people in different clubs, figurative lunch tables, high school lunch tables, sort of, where so and so is on board with so and so, but they're not on board with so and this and that. And so there's a lot of arguing. And not only that, just within the small community that we have, is one of the things you'll find is anywhere there are people, like lots of people, there's usually drama. It doesn't matter what community you're part of. But for us, it's especially hard because we have programming not to talk to each other. We have programming not to work with each other. Uh, in this interview that's linked, I think they might even talk about it a little bit, how we were kind of programmed to compete with each other, to not like each other. And I think some of that ego has maybe come forward in the here and now. And I'm not saying that I've been perfect. There's some apologies that I could make to certain individuals. And I've made mistakes too, but I just think that like it's time for everybody to be able to humble themselves and start working together more. And I just think that what we saw here with these two coming forward with this testimony, it's not an easy episode to watch. It's really rough stuff. But it's getting into the nitty gritty of it and showing people like the reality of it. If you only talk about what life is like out there, what these ET races are like, everything else, people get distracted by that and don't realize the fact that the reason why they're hiding this stuff is because of human trafficking and really nefarious things, really bad things, that they're doing with this cloning and this consciousness retrieval and transferal and everything else. So I just want to highlight the fact that we have separation programming, and you know kind of a rule of thumb of social media is you block the people that you don't like, that you don't get along with, that you don't have the same political views or whatever else. But I think in this community, you kind of have to abandon that rule of thumb. And I think that the rule of thumb that you need to measure with is this person dangerous? Is this person abusive? If it's to that point, then yes, block them. But otherwise, I think that we need to try a little harder to work together. I think we need to do a lot more bridge building as it compared to bridge burning. And I just want to say that that was really brave of them to do that interview. And we need more of that. And we need people to build the realize that your altars are altars. I know there are people who, in this interview, they talk about how bad I was, how nasty of a guy I was at Montauk. I've got a lot of apologies to make to a lot of people. I wasn't perfect either. But it's facing that and realizing that in the here and now, you don't have to be that person. You're not programmed. You're not in a situation where your back's against the wall and you're being forced to do this stuff against your will. So, and we can choose to be better in the here and now and work together and create the full disclosure movement. And like as a real make it mainstream, bring this to the courts, bring this to the mainstream public so they understand their place in the universe and what's really going on, and they're not believing in this false narrative anymore. I think that it's important for everyone. And I just want to say that, like, to anybody who has their qualms with me or doesn't want to talk to me or is afraid of me because I've sent John Whitberg activation codes, I really think we need to move past that. I really think that the time is now. The rubber meets the road now. We have to make this movement gain traction now. We have to work hard at it now, every day. And this is important work. The point is to get to the point where we don't have to have podcasts anymore. We don't have to have these shows. We don't have to disclose all these things because we get a Star Trek future, as people call it or whatever. We get to go out there and get to be part of the galactic family. We're children. We have a little bit of growing up to do still, I would say, but that's possible. We can do that. We can create that future. We can become a part of that future. And we're growing up pretty fast, and I'm not trying to be doom and gloom here, as far as also dealing with this trauma in these programs and stuff like that. Them doing this interview, I know there are people that would say it's harmful for them to do that because we're just reiterating the trauma, but that's how you deal with trauma. You digest it. You can't just throw it away. You have to digest that trauma and sit with it, and then you can let it go. That's the only way to deal with it. So that's what we're doing right now, while simultaneously blowing the whistle on all these black ops programs and all these secrets. That the reason why it all happens in secret, the reason for the secrecy is because they're taking advantage of people, they're hurting people. It's a criminal enterprise. Criminals don't want you to know what they're doing. Criminals don't want you to know what they're up to. They hide it. So that's the reason why they're hiding these programs, is because they're criminals. And if they weren't afraid of being held accountable, they would do it out in the open. So they can and will be held accountable. And unfortunately, the moment you got memories back, you watching this, okay, I know there's a lot of you that have your own memories and your own experiences. The minute you got those memories back, you unfortunately gained a responsibility, okay, to do something about this, to tell other people and to act upon those memories and just change the world, really. We have an opportunity to change the world right now and to end, dare I say, hundreds, if not thousands of years of needless suffering. Again, it's not going to happen overnight, but the first step is letting reality slap us in the face, humbling ourselves, realizing we're not the center of the universe, that the whole entire narrative that we've been told about our history, who we are, where we come from, our place in reality, in the galaxy, is all a lie. The sooner we rip off that Band-Aid, the better. And it's one step at a time. All I know is the first step is people need to know about this stuff. And people are not going to believe us if we form all these different clubs and all these different narratives and focus on our differences and not getting along with each other. And so says this thing that's different than me or whatever. Let's focus on what's the same. And also, when it comes to some of this differing testimony, I'm the first person, as far as I know, maybe there's others, who has blown the whistle on the fact that they're swap realities. They're alternate realities. It's called bubble swap programs. One-time bubble from this alternate reality will swap the version of you from another reality, and then when they put you back, you're not even talking about the reality you're from, so there isn't a security breach. This is an actual thing they're doing. I know all about it. I've experienced a lot of different alternate realities. So that's something to think about. Just because someone's testimony isn't exactly the same as yours doesn't mean that they're lying. Screen memories are also a thing. Let's help each other work through those screen memories and realize the truth. Let's be open and humble. If we talk to each other and we remember the same things and we weren't even, you know what I mean? Like you remember this thing and I already remembered it, but now I'm hearing you say it and you're confirming it. That's powerful. And we can help each other. We can help each other in this community. This should be a community where we help each other, we lift each other up, we try to make this more mainstream. Not a community where we tear each other down, where we point fingers and call each other names and find excuses to not get along or stop talking to each other out of fear. Oh, this person did this to me. This person tortured me. This person did that. Newsflash, you did that to people too if you're in these programs. 9 out of 10 times. We were all programmed to be weapons. We weren't nice people. They didn't program us to be Mr. Rogers, okay? They programmed us to be weapons for the military. So you need to keep that in mind and realize that in the here and now, we have the responsibility to do the right thing. And isn't it great that we can be of the light and be good people? They forced us into that darkness. They forced us into that evil. They forced us into that dark place. And isn't it beautiful that we're remembering all this stuff together and that we can help each other collectively get out of this mess? Isn't that what you want? That's what I want. I know that's what I want. And I'm pretty sure that anybody who exists in the perpetual hell that is these programs, where people don't even believe them and gaslight them, and they've had, it's one thing to deal with trauma. It's another thing to have people tell you your trauma isn't real when you're trying to deal with it. And that's what society does to us, right? Well, the step towards it being accepted and there being clinical DID treatment centers that operate with Native American tribes who are also being helped and repaired. Um, the first step to that is us getting the stuff, us gathering evidence to the point where we can literally file a lawsuit. Now I know people will say, "Oh, every time they do that, the people get killed." Da 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 da. When if we do it at the right time and we're warming up to it right now, and there is some sort of protection, I think we can make it happen. It can. I've seen it in other realities, tribunals and stuff. It's not a fun time for me. A lot of people think I like bad stuff about me and all the terrible things that I've done in these programs come out, and but also the good things, and also the fact that we tried to change things when we had the opportunity to, it was going to come out, but it's not going to be easy. This is going to be one of the hardest transition periods for any species maybe ever. I don't know. This is kind of an unheard of situation that we're in that's been unfolding for thousands of years. But I digress. The main thing I wanted to focus on is that you're not gonna always. Sometimes you'll meet someone in the program and you'll have, that you knew in the programs. You have fond memories of them. Maybe you remember being friends with them, stuff like that. And it's great when you find those people and you can work with them. But you're also gonna have memories of people that are unpleasant, not good. They were a monster to you, right? Um, don't make that be a judge of character for who they are right now. And what who they decide to be when they have their own free will and their own volition and they're not being forced into things. Um, so just that's something to think about. And I just want to say that I love each and every one of you in this community with all my heart. The work that we're doing is important. We forget that sometimes. This isn't just telling stories, this is testimony. That hopefully eventually can and will be used in court. So yeah, I just want to remind people of what we're really all here for, and that this isn't about selling books, conferences. That helps get the word out. So great, let's do that. But it's about getting the mainstream public on board, uh, getting these tribunals going, and getting us into a point where we don't need to talk about this at a conference, or you don't really necessarily need to read someone's book because you can get on a craft and go other places yourself, kind of thing. Like we need to, like people are so mind blown by what we tell them, right? Like they're like, oh, I can't believe it. Ah, wow. You know, we need to get to the point where we're not like that anymore. We're not like children seeing a candy store for the first time, or I don't know what kind of parable I should use here, but like, the whole whoa, bells and whistles, portals and time travel, people get so distracted by that part. When it's about there's human trafficking going on, there's sovereignty being violated, There's that's why they're not telling us about this stuff, is because they use this technology against us, and but we can't have it work for us. So that's what this is about. It's about our sovereignty. It's about it's asserting that, saying we never consented to this. We didn't want to be a part of this. We got to do that together. We can't do it separately. This is a team effort. This is a group effort, guys. So I love you all so much. Hey, maybe think about unblocking a few people if you're one of those people who had that programming and blocked a million people and and all these things. I think it's time to think about maybe we don't need to do that. Like I said, if someone's abusive, dangerous, what those people kind of people do exist in this community, then block them. You don't need to tolerate abuse or dangerous people. You got to stay safe, right? But we shouldn't be so we can't be like normal people. We got to try to get along with each other, even if we have our little disagreements and we're not always exactly on the same page. We should try to be as much as possible. So that's all I got to say. I love you all, and I know my lighting's a bit weird. I'm in a transitional period, and I'm in a new room, and I gotta get in a light and stuff, so I know I look a little fuzzy and weird. But it's I got the important part is I made this video. I really needed to make it, and I'm glad I did. And we are the disclosure, okay? Like I mean that like quite literally. Like I'm telling you the disclosure right now. Like I'm telling you what's going on right now. We're all telling you right now. You don't have to wait for it. There's no moment coming. It's here now. We are the disclosure. So remember that. And yeah, have a good day, night, whatever it is. Rest your week, rest your life. Let's create the timeline of disclosure, and let's do this. We can make it happen. Love you all. All right. Wait. And so